Welcome back to Pharmatech Frontiers. I'm Ritika with Mohammed Aslam for our fourth cutting edge episode. Today we are going to look at pharmacology and network medicine. Mohammed, so how is this network based, approach changing our understanding of drug action?
Ritika, actually, the pharmacology is shifting from traditional one drug, one target approach to network based perspective. So instead of focusing on single protein, system pharmacology looks at how drugs interact across entire networks like genes, proteins, pathways, and organs. So most diseases involve multiple interconnected pathways. So drug often work by modulating all networks. For example, a cancer drug may affect tumor signaling while also influencing immune and metabolic systems, so shaping both benefits and its side effects. So by integrating genomics, proteomics, and computational data, network medicines helps identify new drugs combinations and repurposing existing drugs and predict adverse effects before trials.
Right. So can you explain how protein interaction networks reveal new drug targets and mechanisms?
Yes, we know rather than studying protein in isolation, these networks map how protein interact physically and functionally within the cells. So some proteins act as a hubs, so controlling many processes, making them attractive but sensitive drug targets. So, by analyzing network topology, clusters, modules, and bottlenecks, researchers can identify key nodes which is driving disease. So, which may be more effective target than single downstream receptors. So, combining network insight with omics data like transcriptomics and proteomics helps prioritize protein that are both central and dysregulated in the disease.
Right. So how do researchers map, drug target interaction and what computational tools are being used? I want you to go over this briefly because you've already covered this in our previous episode. So yeah, just a brief overview on that.
Yes, sure. So researchers today use drug target interaction network to get a system level view how drugs act across multiple pathways. So to build these networks, they start gathering known interaction between drugs, proteins, pathways, and databases like string database will provide protein interaction. Then CAMBL offer detailed drug target bioactivity information, etc. So once the network is built using this kind of data sets, databases, computational tools like Cytoscape or Jeffy are used to visualize and analyze the network structure. So these tools will reveal the clusters, hubs, and key pathways that might be therapeutically important.
Right, thank you. So what are the insights that one can gain from network approaches which are provided about drug polypharmacology? For our audience, it means the drugs that hit multiple targets. So, can you elaborate more on that?
Okay. So, network approaches have reshaped how we understand polypharmacology. So, drugs that act on multiple targets. So, instead of seeing off-target effects as purely negative, network analysis show how a single drug can modulate several nodes within a disease network, sometimes enhancing therapeutic outcomes. So, by mapping protein interaction networks and signaling pathways, research can predict which of target interaction might use side effects and which might provide added benefits. So this systems level view also guides the design of multi-target drugs, allowing scientists to intentionally hit complementary nodes to improve the efficacy, overcome resistance, and treat complex diseases like cancer and neurological disorders.
Right. So, coming into graph neural networks that are being applied to drug discovery, how do these AI systems analyze molecular, networks?
Graph neural networks or GNS are AI tools transforming drug discovery by analyzing molecular networks. So, molecules, proteins, and their interaction can be represented as graphs. so nodes for proteins or compounds, and edges for interaction. So GNNs learn node uh, embedding, so numerical representation that capture each node's relationship and properties with the network. So advanced techniques like attention mechanism allow the model to weigh which connections are most important for the given task. So such as predicting drug target interactions, etc. So compared to traditional methods, GNNs can naturally handle complex relationships across the networks, so detected hidden patterns and predict multi-target effects.
Right. So, how are knowledge graphs integrating diverse biomedical data for drug discovery?
Knowledge graphs are transforming drug discovery by connecting diverse biomedical data into a single framework. So, in these graphs, drugs, genes, proteins, pathways, and diseases are nodes, while their relationship, like inhibits or associate with, are as edges. So, this lets researcher to see complex biological contexts invisible in isolated data sets. So one key use is link prediction, where algorithms suggest new connections, such as drug potentially repurposed for the different disease. So by integrating genomics, proteomics, clinical data, and literature, knowledge graphs provide a holistic view of drug disease relationships.
Right. So, basically, let's talk about disease networks. So, can you tell me how disease networks are being used to identify new therapeutic opportunities?
Yes, disease networks are revealing new ways to find therapeutic opportunities by mapping how disease connect to the molecular level. So the concept of disease module shows that genes and proteins driving a disease cluster in specific regions of protein interaction network. So by analyzing these modules, researchers can see relationship between disease overlapping modules maybe indicate shared mechanism and potential for drug repurposing. So network proximity analysis helps to if a drug's targets are close to a disease module, it's more likely to be effective. So this approach has guided discoveries like repurposing metformin for cancer and identifying antiviral and anti-inflammatory drugs during COVID-19. So disease networks are turning drug discovery into a system level sense, uncovering connections that we previously hidden.
Right. So, can you give us examples where network medicine has led to very successful drug repurposing discoveries?
Yes, like for example, overlaps between cardiovascular and a neurological disease modulate suggests that some heart drugs might help in brain disorders. So sildenafil, originally it's intended for angina, so was later repurposed for pulmonary hypertension and explored for Alzheimer's based on network links. So during COVID-19, mapping viral host protein interaction highlighted existing antiviral like remdesivir and immune modulator like dexamethasone, which showed a clear survival benefit. So computational predictions are also being validated clinically. Network models suggest these things. Another example, cimetidine might fight colorectal cancer, and metformin emerged as a candidate for oncology trials. So these are the examples show how network medicine provide a systemic data-driven path to repurpose drugs.
Right. So coming into temporal network dynamics, right? So biological networks are very, very dynamic, meaning they are changing over time. So how are researchers studying temporal network time, and the changes really accounting for in terms of responses to drugs?
Yes, actually, biological networks are in static. They shift over time, especially when exposed to drugs. So, to capture these, researchers use time course network analysis, where they track how interaction between genes and proteins change across different treatment stages. So, this helps to reveal not just if drug works, but when it exerts its strongest effect. So the key concept here is dynamic network biomarkers. So network patterns that appear only at certain time point, often signaling early disease progression or optimal drug response. So by integrating temporal gene expression networks, scientists can map how pathways are activated or silenced over hours or days. So the implications are huge for therapy. Understanding this temporal shift can guide drug timing or chronotherapy, giving drugs at the moment when network are most vulnerable, which can improve efficacy and reduce side effects.
Okay, so how might circadian networks do you think influence like drug efficacy, dosing strategies, so on and so forth?
Circadian biology is adding a new dimension to pharmacology because our bodies runs on 24-hour molecular clocks that influence how we absorb, metabolize, or eliminate drugs. And the study, all this together we will call as like chronopharmacology. So key enzymes like cytochrome P450s fluctuate in activity throughout the day, meaning the same dose can be processed differently in morning versus at night. So this insight is guiding optimal dosing times. So like antihypertensive often works better at night, and chemotherapy can be scheduled when tumor cells are most vulnerable, but healthy tissues are protected. So the next frontier is personalized chronotherapy, aligning drug timing to an individual circadian profile influenced by the genetics or lifestyle.
So, what are the most, biggest challenges in translating network-based discovery into very real clinical applications?
Uh, Actually, network medicine offers powerful insights, translating them into clinic case in a symbol. First, prediction must be validated. So, just because a network suggests a drug disease link doesn't mean it will work in patients. So experimental studies, clinical trials, etc., are again required. And secondly, clinical implementation is much complex because hospital often lack the infrastructure or the expertise to integrate genomics, proteomics, or other network data into care. Then coming to regulatory, it's agencies like FDA or EMA require clear mechanism and safety evidence, and the network predictions can be hard to explain. So finally, strong clinical evidence is crucial. So network approaches generate hypotheses at scale, but only well-designed trials can confirm that these therapies are safe, effective, and improve upon existing standards.
Right. So, coming into a very like broad question, like which is encompassing the entirety of medicine and network medicine, so to say. So, where do you see network medicine heading? In the next decades?
Uh, in next decade, network medicine is poised to become the cornerstone of precision healthcare. So today we map drug target interactions and disease modules. But the future will integrate therapies with the patient's entire molecular and network profile. So AI will play a central role predicting hidden drugs, disease links, optimal combinations, and potential resistance, while becoming more interpretable for clinicians. So, real time network monitoring using wearable biosensors and liquid biopsies, as we mentioned earlier, could track dynamic molecular changes, enabling adaptive dosings or early interventions. So, simply, you can say that decade will make network medicine actionable, turning models into real time personalized treatments.
Right. Thank you, Mohammed, for summing up this entire episode so nicely in your last answer. It was really great to have you, and thank you all of our audience for joining in, for listening, and for being by our podcast. If you like it, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Thank you.